right, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, thank you for the hearing today on 673, and I'll go ahead and thank you for 674 also. State Senator Curtis Gregory, the 21st District. 673 before you would designate the city of Waverly as the apple capital of Missouri. Those of you that, well, one committee member was in the House when I tried doing it a couple of years ago on naming day. I actually would have gotten both of these done, but there were some other amendments to the amendment that the Senate hadn't heard and or didn't like at the time, and so they got stripped off. Everything got stripped off, so it was just a mass casualty. And then that's why we're back here again this year, 2 years later. So where this comes from is the city of Waverly actually hosts their fall festival every year. It's called the Waverly Apple Jubilee. And the state apple judging competition happens in Waverly at the Apple Jubilee because apples aren't ready at the time of the state fair. And there was some discussion in the House Tourism Committee last year of, well, let's try and do everything we can to make sure that there's not an older apple festival of sorts, and there is not, that we found out. This can go back to like the 1910s, 1920s, and Waverly is when this got started. And if you look on Waverly's website, they've actually self-proclaimed themselves as the apple capital of Missouri. And so I thought it'd be a great thing to make this official, help them out a little bit with tourism potentially, and just, you know, recognize what they bring to the state's economy. With that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, any questions for the bill sponsor? Okay, do we have any witnesses in attendance in favor?
It was short notice, but I tried to get some folks here that weren't able to pull it off.
We sometimes
It's all good. I appreciate the hearing.
Sometimes prefer it that way. Anybody in opposition? Anybody for informational purposes? Okay, so you want to close with anything?
In referring to apples, I think one of the compromise positions we might have come, if you want to call it that, is there is a town in Representative Calberlow's district. It's either Calberlow or Boggs that they have an apple butter festival, and so you might see something of, you're nodding your head over there. There might be something that comes on of they'd be the apple butter capital, much like when we had the state official dog and the official state wonder dog, which happened long before I got here. So anyways, thank you so much.
That apple butter is pretty good. Now I want to go down to Lambert's.
I ate there.
Wouldn't that be good?
That was a family highlight on the way to Branson.
Yeah, I love that place. I need to get down there. Okay, cool. So that will conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 673. We have one more bill, Senator Gregory, Senate Bill 674. Let's go.
All right, again, for the record, State Senator Curtis Gregory, 21st District. So this is for the city of Concordia to be known as the official patriotic mural city of the state of Missouri. The mayor of Concordia sends his regrets. When I let him know of this hearing yesterday, he said he would have loved to have been here, as he testified last year. He already had some meetings on the schedule. Really great thing going to Concordia right now. The Lions Club was thinking of a way to beautify the city, and, you know, these clubs are always raising money, and it's like, what is something we can do? And so they started off, I think the first one they painted is actually the largest painted U.S. flag in the state of Missouri, if not the country. I can't remember the exact statistic on it, but it was the largest United States flag, I think, in the state of Missouri, and had the preamble to the Constitution, and they're like, let's just make a lot of patriotic murals. Concordia is a great small town in eastern Lafayette County. And then I think one of the second ones they did was the USS Battleship Missouri on the side of a building. They've now got a print like Freedom of the Press, and there's a painting of the printing press, and the Concordian was the long-standing newspaper in Concordia. And when I was reading about on Facebook and the message boards, they said, well, we'd love to be known as the patriotic mural city of the United States. I said, I don't know if I can do that, but I think I can at least get you all the patriotic mural city of Missouri. And this has become kind of a big deal for the city of Concordia. I was at their community club meeting last month, I believe, and one of the gentlemen there was also a member of the Lions Club, and he actually referenced hopefully being able to get this done. So just looking to attract people into town, pull off Interstate 70, go get you some barbecue. Creamy Freeze is now open. It's the great ice cream shop that you go to after baseball games and high school football games on Friday nights, and, you know, just bring a little business to town and some recognition.
That sounds pretty cool.
And I think I would also like to comment that the ironic thing to me when I did this 2 years ago is Concordia is like the arch rival of Santa Fe.
Okay.
as far as high schools go, and I threw these amendments together. I thought that
What was
was
the name of your high school?
Santa Fe High School in Alma.
Okay, so you were Santa Fe.
Yes.
Okay,
but
so
Concordia,
this is your rival.
yeah, the Concordia Orioles is the rival, but yet all of us Santa Fe football players would end up at Creamy Freeze,
Okay.
after the Friday night football game and hang out. And Senator Washington over here is familiar with the area very much. But I think this is just a small thing we can do for some of our rural towns to give them some notoriety for it to show up and hopefully drive a little tourism for them.
Yeah, and that's pretty nice of you to do that for a rival community. Any questions of the bill sponsors for the committee?
Ask your dad about the place. It used to be the Hardys, right across from Casey's in Concordia. Can we get that Tenderloin place back?
I don't think we can get a tenderloin place back, but there's actually going to be a quick trip go in there.
Where that Hardee's was?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Senator. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Quick Trip's a big deal.
Yeah,
It is. Concordia is a big, for those who don't know, it's a big truck stop area or whatever, but this would be really good so people can know the history of our state. A lot of our small towns have a lot of contribution, and so anything that can bring, for me personally, any tourism to Saline County, I would.
Well, technically,
that.
Senator, it's Lafayette
I know
County,
it is, but I have to
I
get
claim
off
I'm
there
one
to-
the same. I went to school there. And
But I have to get off there to go to Blackburn, so, as you know.
So Lafayette County by way of Saline County.
That's
Saline
correct.
County by way of Lafayette.
So when in the 1960s and last round of school consolidation, the Santa Fe School R10, I never knew what the R stood for ever until, I don't know if it was I got down here or what, but I finally learned that R stood for Reconsolidated District Number 10. And that was the two Saline County school districts were Grand Pass and Blackburn. My aunt was actually in the last graduating class of Blackburn High School. And they, I think, were the Owls. And then Waverly and Alma were the other two. And I think there's still some people that are a little disgruntled on where schools ended up at. So Waverly has the K through 6, and then Alma has 7 through 12. And then obviously it's on the Santa Fe Trail, so that's how we got Santa Fe as a school district.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's a really nice pocket of Missouri and just a really good place to be at, and I'm happy to represent them.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're proud that you represent them as well. Any other additional questions of the committee? Any witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition? Anyone here for informational purposes? Okay, so I'd like that to conclude the hearing on 674. Senator Gregory, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so next up we have Senator Mosley, Senate Bill 777. I'm not sure if she's here, so I guess we'll just jump until she gets here to Senate Bill 820, Senator Washington.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee. As you all know, I'm Senator Barbara Ann Washington from Jackson County, Missouri. Specifically, I represent most of Kansas City east of Truce, south of the river, some Raytown, a corner of Independence, and all Raytown, a corner of Independence, and a little bit of Lee Summit. I'm here today to try to follow up on something my predecessor wanted, and that is to designate the Kansas City Chiefs as the official professional football team in the state of Missouri. When we tried this before, we had a little pushback to only name them the NFL team of Missouri, and I think that's a misnomer because the Kansas City Chiefs are the only, right now as it stands, the Cardinals are the only team that has been in this state longer than the Kansas City Chiefs. So this team has been committed to our community. They have unified our state when it comes to sports, and they have stayed. They have been in Kansas City since 1963. Because of the Kansas City Chiefs, we all watched this game called the Super Bowl, which was created by the founder of the Kansas City Chiefs. They give significant economic impact back to our community. They give significant taxes back to the state to the tune of about $25 million. And they're an impact in our community in that all of our star players have nonprofit associations that are charitable, as well as the team itself. They have increased our community by leaps and bounds. I can't say how much it helps to have a Patrick Mahomes Park. It's not named after him, it's Martin Luther King, but he paid for new equipment. Or we have a robotics clinic that was paid for by Travis Kelce. And this is not just individual players that are doing this. This is the spirit and the culture of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not even sure if it's legal, but there used to be a unwritten rule that a player in Kansas City for the Chiefs would have to make 4 public appearances to the children before they could charge for appearances. And that just goes to the dedication that this team has in the state. And they should be, if we can't do anything else, we should honor them by making them our official professional football team.
Thank you for that history, Senator. Any questions of the bill sponsor from the committee? Senator Moon.
He likes to mess with me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator, for that explanation. Will there be any reference to Dallas?
Why would we do that?
Well, you know the history, though, right?
Well, the team came here. They did start. Well, that's another reason they should actually be named the official team, because our owners are Dallas residents, and they have never actually took up permanent residence in the city of Kansas City or our metro area. The only one that has a Kansas City tie is the current owner's wife, Tavia, who coincidentally was our hostess in the stadium. But she's the only one. They are Texans, and they brought them to Kansas City. So, no, we don't need to mention Dallas. They've lived in Kansas City for 63 years, and I think they were in Dallas for 2 or 3.
And that's all I wanted to know.
Yes.
Thank you.
He already knew that.
Thank you, Senator Moon. Senator Lewis.
Hi, Senator.
Hi.
I love your bill.
Thank you.
And I think it was this week. Patrick Mahomes was having like a rally for kids who at the Sprint Center who were dedicated to reading 15 minutes a day.
Right.
So the list goes on and on and on about some of the stuff that the Chiefs do. So does your bill guarantee they're staying?
No, it doesn't. And I also want to mention, and I'm not sure why we didn't set this for today, Curtis Gregory has the same bill, so we would, if we can move this through, we'd want to consolidate that. His is Senate Bill 825. No, money will guarantee that the Chiefs can stay, and my bill doesn't have anything to do with money.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Any additional questions from the committee? Any witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition? Anyone for informational purposes? Senator, I enjoy the history you give on this. So you have any closing remarks?
Just a little, just to show to the testament of who the Kansas City Chiefs are. You heard from a former Chiefs player who hadn't played in over 30 years just a couple weeks ago in Art Steele. Deron Cherry, who is a former Kansas City Chiefs player, has built multiple businesses. In fact, he was a partial owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but still kept his home in Kansas City, his commitment. So the Kansas City Chiefs are our mainstay, like Hallmark, our H&R Block in our community, and we just feel like this is the time for the state to finally honor the only football team who has committed to staying in the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Washington. And that will conclude the hearing on Senate Bill 820. Next up, we have Senate Bill 777, Senator Mosley.
Hello, I'm Senator Mosley, representing the 13th Senatorial District, and would like to thank the chairman for allowing me to have this hearing today. This bill is SB777, and it will designate June 17th of each year as Neighborhood Gun Violence Prevention Day in honor of Preston Ja'mon Tink Jones Sr. Preston was killed by gun violence while sleeping in his bed at home. Someone shot through the window, leaving behind a mother grieving, his siblings grieving, his mother, who was here to testify. She, because of this, started a nonprofit called Breaking Generational Poverty. She advocates in the community against gun violence. He also left behind a 8-month-old son and an unborn daughter. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Senator Mosley, for that. Any questions from any members of the committee? Okay, with that, we'll call up any witnesses in favor of Senate Bill 777.
Hello, my name is Pharaoh. My cousin Tink was killed by gun violence. And I don't want anyone else to experience this pain. Support this bill, please, and thank you.
And tell us your name again.
Huh?
Tell me your name again.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, you did a tremendous job with your testimony. Thank you. Any
Thank
questions of Pharaoh from the committee? Okay, Pharaoh, thank you for submitting your testimony. We appreciate it. Any other additional witnesses in support?
My name is Prince Jones, and Tink is my cousin, and I think gun violence is affecting our loved ones and our community, and it is hard to recover from our childhood memories and pass it on.
Okay, Prince, thank you for that. Anyone in the
Thank you.
committee has questions? Hold on, Prince, 1 second. We've got to make sure we don't have any questions for you. Any questions for Prince? Senator Lewis.
Prince, thank you, and Pharaoh for being here. I was just curious, is this your first time testifying in a committee like this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, I was going to say you seem like a professional, so you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for Prince? Prince, thanks for your testimony. Any other additional witnesses in support of Senate Bill 777?
My name is Sean Webb, and I got like a speech written down, and I couldn't memorize it all because it was too much. But I'm here today to talk about something really important. Remembering my cousin, who was taken from us because of gun violence. Losing someone you love is painful, but what's even worse is knowing it could have been prevented. That's why we have a special day to remember those that we lost and to work to stop the gun violence. This isn't just about my cousin. It's about all the families who suffered because of gun violence. Too many lives are being cut short, and too many families are left with heartbreak. If we don't take time to remember, nothing will change. Having a day of remembrance will help people understand how serious this problem is. It will bring people together to share stories, support each other, and find ways to make our community safer. It's not about politics, it's about protecting lives. We can't change the past, but we can honor those that we lost by fighting for a better future. Let's make sure my cousin and so many others are never forgotten again. Let's use this day to bring hope, awareness, and action. Thank you.
Thank you for that testimony. Any questions from the committee for Mr. Webb? Thank you for your testimony, sir. Do we have any more additional witnesses?
I said I wasn't gonna cry. Today I stand before you in support of Bill SB777, a bill that holds a place very dear to my heart and one that drives my everyday advocacy. This bill is an opportunity to bring much needed awareness to the devastating impact of gun violence in our communities, especially the loved ones left behind, whose memories are forever etched in our hearts. In 2019, my eldest brother was shot over 27 times and became a paraplegic. Later that same year, my children's stepfather was tragically murdered inside his place of business. With so much trauma and grief, I fought to support my brother in his journey, but death struck again in 2021 when my eldest brother passed away. We were already deep in grief, questioning why, when we thought we were finally on a path to healing. But the heartbreak didn't end there. On April 5th of 2022, my son's best friend, a young kid who spent countless days and nights at my home creating precious memories, was taken by gun violence. And just weeks later, on June 17th of 2022, my 20-year-old son, Preston Ja'mon, was shot and killed while sleeping. Heartbreak doesn't even begin to capture the depth of sorrow I feel. No words can fully express the agony, the overwhelming sadness, the loneliness, the constant search for answers that never come. Every second, I think of my son. Every second, I search for him in my mind and in my heart, longing for a connection that is forever gone. Losing a child is a pain that no parent should ever experience, but it's also a pain that impacts the whole family. When my son died, a piece of me died with him. My surviving sons hurt every day. They carry their grief with them, and we try as best we can to comfort one another. But imagine trying to hug your son, to hold him as he cries, only to realize you can't even finish your sentence because you're struggling to hold your composure. I know the pain my surviving children feel. I feel it too, deeply, every single day. Since my son's death, I have committed every day of my life to advocating against gun violence. I don't want any other family to experience the heartache, the trauma, the loss that we have endured. That's why I'm asking for this day to be declared in Missouri to honor all victims of gun violence, but those who have lost their lives and those who have survived. We need to raise awareness about the devastating effects of gun violence and inspire our communities to take action to spread love, peace, and hope so that we can heal and thrive. We are tired, and I do mean tired of burying our children. Let this be the moment we come together to end the cycle of violence, to protect our families, and to make sure no more lives are lost to senseless acts of gun violence. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. We really appreciate it, and really grateful for you expressing your grief. It's something that we're very, very sensitive to and can relate to in a lot of instances. So, any questions of any members of the committee? Senator Nicola.
Ma'am, I just want to thank you for your testimony. I know it's difficult, to share in front of us something so intimate and personal, but I want to thank you for doing that. Thank you for taking the time and bringing the kids with you, too.
Thank you.
Any additional questions of members of the committee? Well, hold on one second. That's the committee. Did you want to add some additional comments to your testimony? You need to make sure it's okay with our current witness right now. Okay.
So with this bill, do y'all get to pass? Do y'all decide if this bill get passed, or do y'all have to go up and go talk with other people to make sure this bill get passed, or do y'all just do it?
That's a great question. It'll start with us. So the committee will make a vote and decide to move forward or not with the bill, and then it'll go on a formal calendar, and then it'll eventually go before the Senate body. So
that's all I have to ask.
that's a really great question.
Thank
Sound
you.
like you may be a future senator one day.
No, I'm just trying to be the government.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I did just I didn't think about that. So this bill actually has passed the body already on the omnibus bill. So this bill is actually passed out of the body. So that's some really, really good news. So I think the future's bright for this bill, and that's an update I just got. So yeah, the committee will still go through its procedures, but this bill is moving. So that's a really positive thing. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you.
And,
I just also wanted to add, I have a foundation called Breaking Generational Poverty. We stand against gun violence. We bring resources into the community for our youth and also the entire family. We are very much so boots on the ground, and my son, 2 children, I started a foundation for them as well under Breaking Generational Poverty. That's from kids for kids. I want them to be charitable in life, and I don't want what happened to my son to make them grow up to be angry or upset. So I want them to love and spread love. And also my eldest brother that passed away, these are his children. So they're part of that foundation as well. So any kids with facing any difficulties in life or obstacles, I just want them to know their love and to spread love.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I can tell you, I'm confident your brother is extremely proud looking down on your nephews.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for your testimony. Senator Mosley, did you have any
Thank
closing
you.
remarks?
I'd also like to point out that Precious works very hard to make sure that no one does any retaliation on anyone who has caused this grief to her and her family. She also works hard to make sure that she's paying attention to what's going on in the community to help stop when she's seeing people on social media talking about getting ready to do something violent. So she's very much so involved. She calls law enforcement as well when she needs to let them know, hey, you need to get over in this area because something's about to happen. So she's not just talking the talk, she's walking the walk.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, Senator Mosley. And that will conclude our hearing on Senate Bill 777. With that, if no additional questions and concerns, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All right, we have a second, and all in favor? All right, the Committee on Progress and Development is now adjourned. Thank you very much.